We are here at the CNHT annual picnic, or as I've been telling everybody in these Grok interviews, Old Home Day for those right-of-center activists. And we are here with the Speaker of the New Hampshire House, Bill. Speaker Bill, how are you?
Skip, I'm doing very well. It is Old Home Day, isn't it?
It is.
All our good friends here.
I mean, unfortunately for Ed and those folks, but they know what's going on. The speaker's a sort of tertiary or quaternary importance. People are saying, hey, I haven't seen you for a long time. Let's yak. And I know that I kind of had to stand waiting for you to stop yakking with people because everybody's coming to see you.
Well, you know what it is you'll see these people maybe once a year or twice a year, and it's like renewing an old conversation. So it's just great seeing them.
It is. Now, you had the chance to talk, and we certainly had you on the live stream, and we'll be putting up the video of your speech. In fact, I'm going to ask you, gee, can we get a copy of the speech for GraniteGrok to put up?
If you know what, I can either hand you this or I can email it to you.
I'm lazy. Email, please. But you went over a number of things, and I would say from that list, and this is sort of a tease for the people watching this, they'll now have to go watch the other one, of all the accomplishments that you were able to do this year, which one do you think is the best for the state of New Hampshire and the individual citizens?
Well, the one is really hard to come up with. Certainly, the budget was very, very important. That would have, if we had not been able to bring the spending under control without any increased taxes, without any new taxes, we would have ended up with a very different state. So that was recapturing what we've had in the New Hampshire advantage, at least for the immediate future. Going forward, what is going to be the most important is the income tax amendment that we put onto the ballot. That is going to give every person an opportunity to decide for themselves and for New Hampshire whether or not we're going to be able to preserve forever what is unique about this state. And what is unique about this state is not just that we don't have income tax. It's a tool. That's a ways to a mean. The means to an end. The importance is that we're going to have a government, state government, that is small and focused in on what it has to do, the core functions of government, not all the things that it can do. Once you have an income tax or another broad-based tax like a sales tax, it's so easy to continue to increase those, and then to every one of these problems that come up, whether they're, as I said in the speech, whether they're real or imagined, to try to find a government solution. You know, the low spending and institutionalizing the Constitution is a way to prevent that for the remainder of our lives and for our children's lives and going into the future. I think that is very, very important. When they look back, if we were able to pass that on the ballot in November, and they look back at this legislative term, that's what they're going to remember.
Well, we're going to see if you get the chance to do that. Certainly there are a lot of people gunning for you in this next election. There are a lot of people who are hoping that you don't make it. We at GraniteGrok are not among those people.
Thank you.
We endorsed you in the last run for Speaker of the House. We understand that kind of opened up a lot of people's eyes. So it won't be quite as dramatic when we do so again, because we think you've done a good job at what we want, which is smaller, limited government. Let it do what it's supposed to do in those limited functions and do it extremely well. My question to you, however, in that is that because people are gunning for you, some Republicans, certainly all the Democrats, a lot of the unions and all that, you certainly stirred up a whole lot of people, a whole lot of bees' nests this last session. How hard will it be to regain the speakership and to perhaps work with maybe a minority of Republicans in the Senate, which I think might happen? And it's not entirely clear that the Democrats won't keep the governorship. How will that affect your agenda being the Speaker in the next term?
Well, certainly I have really good support among legislative Republicans in the House for me continuing in the speakership. But it's appropriate that I go back to my constituents and have a conversation. I've tried to keep going during the term, but have more intensely as I go through the re-election, trying to tell them what we attempted, why we attempted it, what we succeeded at, what we didn't succeed at, what in fact we want to do with this next term. And that's important, that's legitimate. If it is a hard race to get reelected, it should always be a hard race to get reelected because it's an important decision. I'm confident I will be, but I look forward to having that conversation. again, as I said, among those who are going to be elected, and we will get a Republican majority, and I think we'll get a conservative majority, which is equally as important in the House. Speculating what goes on in the Senate and in the gubernatorial race, from my perspective, we look pretty good there. I am really focused in on House races. Skip, you could probably tell me more on what's going on in the Senate races. I think we have two great gubernatorial candidates. Kevin Smith and Owen Longentine are just strong Republicans in the New Hampshire tradition, which is slightly libertarian. And so I know I can work with both of those, and I look forward to working with both of those gentlemen.
What if you get Jackie Silly or Maggie Hassan?
We'll prevent her from doing damage to New Hampshire.
Well, that will be helpful for a lot of people to know, because frankly, we fought Hassan Speech and Hassan Care. We understand the progressive nature of both of them, and they would be that in steroids, sitting in the corner office instead of just in the legislature.
What discourages me most about the Democrats, other than that they're absolutely wrong about everything, but what really discourages me most is that they won't have an open and honest conversation with the people of New Hampshire. That's what we're trying to do here. We don't hold back, and I know we get hit because we don't hold back, but it is who we are, and we're out there explaining. They don't really want to say, we're for an income tax. Our agenda is really we want more of your money because we need to spend it doing things that we think are best for you, because you want to know why we're slightly smarter than you are. That is the Democrat elitist approach to government, and they ought to just be up front and get there and say it. We want bigger government.
Boy, isn't that a Tea Party extremist attitude towards the Democrats? And I agree with you on this.
Well, it's people will ask me. I've done some traveling in the country now, and I'll go down to Washington, and they'll say, I did an interview with the Politico recently, for example, and they said, you're viewed as a Tea Party candidate, and you came in with a Tea Party. And I said, no, I've been here all along. I've been active in the party much before there was a Tea Party. This is what it means to be a New Hampshire Republican. This is what I think it should mean nationally to be a Republican. We are for limited government. We are for fiscal responsibility. We're for local control, solutions being as close to the people as you can get it, so that they can control what those solutions are. That's nothing to do with the Tea Party per se. It's everything to do with who a conservative is and who a Republican who's a conservative is. So, if that's Tea Party, then I will take credit for inventing it. 10 years ago, when I decided to get involved on an active level in state politics.
Well, very good. I'll leave the other question about now being a free stater as well for another time. Bill, I want to say thank you very much for spending a few minutes with GraniteGrok.
Thank you, Skip.
GrokTV.